Imagine for a moment, you are a Western leader, sitting comfortably in your office, convinced that you know everything there is to know about Russian military capabilities. Then suddenly, on November 21, 2024, the unthinkable happens. A missile that you never saw appear on your radar strikes Ukraine at 10 times the speed of sound. Its name? Oreshnik. And it has just changed the rules of the global geopolitical game. But wait, because this story is much more fascinating and disturbing than you might imagine. This missile is not just a revolutionary weapon, it is a symbol of technological revenge that has its roots in a monumental strategic error made more than 30 years ago.
Let's go back in time.
The year is 1987, and the Cold War is in full swing. Europe is trembling under the threat of Soviet medium-range missiles, notably the fearsome RSD-10 Pioneer, which can wipe out any European capital in a matter of minutes. The Americans respond with their Pershing II missiles.
Tension are running high, and the world is on the brink of nuclear apocalypse.
Then Mikhail Gorbachev, in a gesture that seemed noble at the time, signed the Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces Treaty with the United States. The goal? To reduce the risk of nuclear war. But this is where the story takes a tragic turn for Russia. Not only did it scrupulously comply with the treaty, it went far beyond its obligations. It destroyed weapons that were not even banned by the treaty, such as the Oka complex with a range of 450 kilometers. Worse still, it destroyed all the technical documentation on the legendary Pioneer. A mistake that would prove costly. While Russia was conscientiously disarming, what was happening on the other side? The Americans, seeing their rival weakened, launched NATO's expansion eastward.
The illusion of Western omnipotence grows.
Russia no longer poses a serious threat, they think.
A fatal mistake.
For the Russians are not standing idly by. In the shadows, they are developing new weapon systems to restore the balance. But in 2018, it became clear that Gorbachev's treaty was nothing more than a fiction. Accusations flew from both sides. Trump finally announced in 2019 that the US would no longer comply with the treaty, revealing that it planned to flood Europe with missiles once again. And here lies the genius of Russian strategy. While the West is agitated and making sensational statements, Moscow remains silent. It is not until June 2024 that Putin publicly mentions the possibility of resuming production of medium-range missiles. For those familiar with Russian politics, this means one thing: the process had already been underway for a long time. 5 months later, the Oreshnik made its spectacular debut. And guess what its first target was? The Yuzmash factory in Dnipro, Ukraine. This choice was no accident. It was a message steeped in history and irony. This factory was once the jewel of the Soviet missile industry. The Yuzhnoye Design Bureau located there was capable of producing 100 intercontinental ballistic missiles per year, one missile every 3 days. A world record that has never been equaled. This factory also designed revolutionary space engines for missions to distant planets. If the Soviet Union had not imploded, humanity would be much more technologically advanced today. But fate decided otherwise. This legendary factory became foreign, and the United States and Great Britain set up weapons production facilities there aimed at Russia. A cruel twist of fate, the former pride of the Soviet Union turned against its heir. The factory was designed to withstand a nuclear war, with its main facilities buried deep underground. Destroying it with conventional weapons seemed impossible. Seemed impossible, that is. Because Oreshnik proved otherwise, sending a clear message: even buried, the enemy is not safe. But where exactly does this mysterious Oreshnik come from? The story dates back to the 1980s, when the Moscow Institute of Thermotechnics was collaborating with the Dnipro Bureau to develop a new missile complex. After the collapse of the USSR, the Ukrainians withdrew from the project, which was transferred entirely to Moscow. This project gave rise to the Topol-M, then the Yar's formidable intercontinental missiles. Then came the RS-26 Rubesh project, a lighter version of the Yars with a range of 6,000 kilometers. Officially, this project does not exist. It is too close to the limitations of the 1987 treaty. But experts suspect that the Oreshnik incorporates all of these accumulated technologies, those of the Yars, the Topol, and even the old Pioneer. A distillation of decades of innovation. The appearance of the Oreshnik had a devastating psychological effect on the West. More important than the material damage, this missile destroyed something fundamental: the confidence of Western leaders in their omniscience. They thought they knew everything about Russian capabilities. If they missed the Oreshnik, what other surprises are hidden in the Russian arsenal? This question will haunt Western capitals for a long time. And while they try to understand what they are missing, Russia continues to develop its new generation weapons. The Yar's potential for modernization has not been exhausted. Versions with individually separable nuclear warheads are under development. The ultramodern Kedr complex is progressing in the utmost secrecy. The Oreshnik is just the beginning of a new era. An era in which the balance of power is being redefined, Western certainties are crumbling, and Russia is proving that it has never stopped innovating behind the scenes. The message is clear: underestimating Russia has always been a fatal mistake.
And the West is learning this lesson the hard way.
While Western analysts scan their radar screens for clues about Russia's next surprises, one thing is certain: the story is just beginning, and it promises to be explosive.